At the White House press briefing on Venezuela this week, someone typed into the chat a Jewish proverb: if you don't steal it, someone else will. Eric Batikas this week quoted Thomas Paine saying that not thinking a thing is wrong gives it a superficial appearance of being right. Nobody likes President Trump. He's loud and abrasive. We tone it down. We go for the middle road. And we have moderate to low rates of success. And Mr. Trump, well, he experiences high success, even sometimes in his own estimation. States try to deliver more federal funds to their constituents by getting as much as they can for social programs, populating their states with constituents needed to secure the funding as part of the due diligence. Christ came to deliver us from sin, not to perpetuate the world of sin for more sinners and expand market share. That was already baked into the plan. Welcome. Welcome to Coffee Hour. I'm Stanley Smith. At Coffee Hour, we talk about everything and nothing. Recently, we talked about ice raids, drinking more water, traveling to Atlanta, being mental and emotionally intelligent, and following narratives. The readings at Washington National Cathedral were from Isaiah, driving by the low hanging fruit of injustice, lest you be extinguished. And from Acts, being a witness to a witness to a witness. It's almost like being there. The gospel reading was from Matthew. We're being served by the served of the served, and we're still not happy. The sermon at Washington National Cathedral was by Randy Hollerith. Randy preached the faith of floating atop an unfathomable depth. We thrash around and try to save ourselves and others. It makes us sink. If we stop for a moment, we can find that we can float, floating on the surface of our fear and doubt, floating on God Himself. Fear is a difficult thing to master. We can try floating atop of the depths of our fear, pain, and suffering. We can learn to trust in the buoyancy of God Himself. The bottom might drop out and life might fall apart. Faith doesn't spare us from that. Being a strong person is more than the abstract hope in fanciful human goodness. It's trusting in the buoyancy of God and the faith that God has others in His hands. We can spare perpetuating our good unto others and let God do the work through us and around us. The sermon at St. James Cathedral is by Christopher Griffin. Chris preached about the baptism of the Lord. It's a new year, and already things are moving way too fast. The three kings traveled almost a year to get here, and we've already moved on. All we have to worry about is Christmas and Easter, but we occupy ourselves with many narratives in between. God finds human life so important that He took on human form just to get in on it. We are in union and communion with each other in our baptism. Jesus is baptized when He should be baptizing us. He's modeling how to worship God by His own actions. God invites us into the water because He's there in the water with us. That's the whole point. He's not there to make sure it all turns out right. He's there to be with us. God never promised us a rose garden or answers to immigration, transgenderism, or mass incarceration. Faith doesn't mean getting what you want, and evangelizing is what God is about, and it's not about closing someone else out. When God is pleased with us, He calls us by our name. In our baptism, we sometimes receive a new name. God uses it in our life and in our baptism and through eternity. You belong to social media. You belong to that political party. You belong to that church. Ultimately, we belong to God. Out of baptism comes the voice of God calling us by name. You are loved. When we're hearing that voice, we're hearing the voice of God. In Atlanta recently for work, the restaurants are full at night with people dining out and having a good time. In church on Sunday, the message has moderated and is much less political. People have moved on, and we realize now it was all a marketing ploy to get us to buy stuff and vote a certain way. Being a country isn't about getting what you want, it's about common good and following the law. The 1969 song Le Thème by George Gainsborough and Jane Birkin was banned by the Vatican because it was obscene. And it was withdrawn by Phelps Recordings because Queen Juliana of the Netherlands was a shareholder. The song went on to be an international success, and Serge Gainsborough went on to become a millionaire. Notoriety can be a ticket to success, and it can also be really bad for a girl's complexion. A car is something we use to get somewhere, and it can also be used as a weapon. Christ used the violence perpetrated against him to get us somewhere of the union with him, and not as an endless condemnation and indictment. At New Year's, a friend of mine was looking for someone to perform a wedding ceremony on a day's notice. There wasn't a baby involved because I asked. When I finally found someone, it was my friend Matt Gold, who works for the Justice Department. He's an ordained minister in the Universal Church of God. Got the title online for $25. Matt can marry you and also handle your divorce. He told me that if your spouse is federally indicted, it makes for great grounds for divorce. Bringing things together, building things up, and joining them together, it's $25 chump change. Tearing things apart, that's where the real money is. We're all going for some degree of success in this life. Most of us are mild-mannered and obtain moderate success. A spectacular few have spectacular success. No need to make a federal case out of it or run over someone with your car. It all depends which narrative you're following: the world's narrative, your own narrative, or God's narrative. We have a role, a narrative, and a personality. So many terrific examples in the world today. Which narrative was Renee Good following? And which one is President Trump following? It's a role, a narrative, and a personality. We have to follow that star and see where it takes us. If you would like to join us at Coffee Hour, I will include my email in the description of this video. Be happy to send you an invitation. And I look forward to seeing you very, very soon.